Welcome to my fitness channel. Just kidding, welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. It's just really hot out today, so I had to wear this. So the topic for today is deck building for premium. If you know or don't know, there's a reboot for Vanguard. New formats will be coming. Premium is one of them, where you can actually use all the cards you want. Except of course if there's some kind of ban list. Some people were actually afraid, oh no, is premium gonna be a thing? One of the judges at Springfest France actually reassured us yet again that yes, it will be a thing. There will be tournaments for it in fall. It will be part of the autumn qualifiers and so forth. So that's a really cool thing. One question I'm constantly getting is, Maxime, will Grand Blue be good in premium? And I'm like, how can I possibly know? We haven't seen a single card just yet. However, it is a very interesting topic to discuss. So I wanted to explore, let's say we started building a premium deck right now. Based on a few assumptions, we could already start making some choices. And so I've been theory crafting over this for a few weeks now, and I think I've got a pretty solid idea. So let's take as an example, because I'm really familiar with the clan, let's take Aqua Force, right? We have our typical Tavas deck. I assume everyone knows this is the most competitively viable deck right now, even though it's not meta at all. At least it's the best of the few subclans we have. So we have our typical Tavas deck. We have a G-Zone. Overall, in Standard, we won't see any changes to the G-Zone. So I doubt we will be making any changes. However, Wailing Tavas stops grade 1s as guard. And so generally that's like, oh, you can't use PGs. However, if everyone's gonna change to grade 0 PGs, maybe Wailing Tavas will become worse, and so we might cut that card eventually. But for now, let's just say the G-Zone remains largely the same. Let's have a look at the grade 3s then. Right now, generally we run 4 of the new Tavas, 3 of the old Tavas, or maybe a Benedict or some kind of tech. The most important thing here is we are running Tavas. And again, this is speculation. We won't be getting a Tavas grade 3 with an imaginary gift. At least that's what I think. I really hope we do, it would be really cool. But for now, I think we'll have to wait a bit on that. First thing we need to do is add in a grade 3 with an imaginary gift marker. I am going to assume that Maelstrom is going to become the most viable boss monster in this set. So let's take the new Maelstrom grade 3. Even though we don't know the skill, we can be really sure that he will have an imaginary gift. And as you know, Excel is the imaginary gift for Aqua Force, which is a really good gift for them. So we run 4 of the new Maelstrom, whatever that may be, just to get those Excel markers. Because later on, you know, with Alexandros you can do some insane stuff, even with Megiddo, but more on that later. So we take 4 of that Maelstrom. However, what do we cut? Well, the old Tavas is pretty shit. He's only good on Vanguard, and generally we want to be riding the new Maelstrom because we want that gift. So we cut the old Tavas and we still run the new one. Why? Well, he has a rearguard skill, a pretty good one, especially when you start considering all these new markers and so forth. So we will probably be running something like 4 Maelstrom and maybe 3 of the new Tavas. But again, this is all based on assumptions and speculation. We haven't seen a single card yet. This is just the kind of thing I'm thinking about right now, but as new cards will come out, we will obviously make some changes to all of this. Now for the grade 2s, we don't know if they're gonna print a new Tidal Assault. I really hope so, but I doubt that will be very balanced unless they figure that out somehow. So if we don't get a new Tidal Assault, we will be running the old one. I doubt the difference will be very huge anyway, so it doesn't really matter when we're talking about premium. So 4 Tidal Assault is a definite thing still, especially when we have our Excel circle with 10k power extra and all the Alexandros shenanigans. So Tidal is definitely a thing, considering that Adelaide, our other restander, is Tavas only. And since we want to be riding the new Maelstrom, well, we will just probably have to cut Adelaide right there. This also means we will have to cut Shipra. So that's another thing we lose. Which other grade 2s could be viable? Well, maybe Magnum Assault again. I don't really know about that. Saberflow is still a really solid card, so we could probably run that in there. Maybe a High Tide Sniper, but 10k, is that valuable? I don't know. So for now I'm gonna say Tidal Assault, Saberflow, maybe some of the new cards, but we haven't seen any. Consider that the new once per turn ruling actually makes Magnum Assault way better than it used to be. So hey, maybe we see a return of that cunt. For grade 1s, I think we will still be running Stride Fodder because striding is really handy, but apart from that, riding the correct grade 3 will be very important. So assuming we always want to ride Maelstrom to get our gift as soon as possible, why not run some Corellia, you know, the promo, to always fetch our correct Maelstrom ride? Now one may argue, oh, run PGs, but Aqua Force has so many good pieces, so I would argue we could use the draw PGs for Aqua Force instead. Sure, Ichikishima and stuff like that becomes very, very scary, but we'll have to see how that actually plays out. For now, I would run the draw PGs, and so we have an extra grade 1 slot right there. And since we're getting rid of Plato, you know, our countercharge PG, we could maybe run a jellyfish soldier or two to get some of that counterblast back. Since Adelaide is being cut, we also don't need that soul as much anymore. We could also run Ortia still, and I'm sure many more interesting grade 1s will be coming out. We could also look towards maybe some of the older cards, but for now that's a little bit tentative. However, do keep in mind, since we're running Maelstrom as our grade 3, even though we still have Tavas in the lineup because he's just a very good card, we might also be able to look towards some of the Maelstrom specific units and some of the Maelstrom strides. But then we're really building a Maelstrom deck, and I'm not sure if Maelstrom will be a better deck than generic Aqua Force with Alexandros Abuse. Then for the triggers, we have some things to consider. You know, in standard, the heal triggers actually have way more power, or at least that's what we think. We actually haven't seen non-force heal triggers as far as I'm aware, so there may be some different guard amounts there because nothing's been shown actually. However, more importantly, we need counterblast, and generally we're gonna ditch our heals for G Guardians anyway to up our open G zone cards. I think we will still be running the heals that let us countercharge upon G-guarding. Of course, we're cutting Malika since we want the new draw PGs, assuming we get that. As I said, counterblast is important, so maybe we still want some supersonic sailor. This means we have 12 of our triggers already figured out. Don't forget that we're getting a force trigger, at least one, so let's fill in some force triggers in that final slot. And that's basically our 16 triggers right there. Finally, starter. We're not sure what we should be running there. Maybe they come up with something new. Maybe we go back to Bubble Edge. Only time will tell. I'm really not sure about that specific one. But that's basically how I'm currently thinking about premium. As I said before, it's very likely that they show some kind of new card that's super good and we go, okay, auto include, it's a great card. Maybe the new Algos from the trial deck is such card, we don't know. So again, this is all speculation and assumptions, but people are still asking for it and it's still interesting to theory craft about it. So how will the deck run? Well, generally we will have our early game stuff, maybe call Tidal Assault, but I would hold your horses because it's actually a really harsh target. People could start targeting the Tidal Assault, you'd lose it. We're going to dig less through the deck because we no longer have Shipra or Melania, and so that piece might have more value than it used to. So early game, maybe we don't rush as hard, only time will tell, into our stride game, where we basically start abusing our new Excel rearguard circles, put our Tidal Assault on there, start doing your Alexandros shenanigans, and more importantly, don't forget about Megiddo abuse. As you know, Megiddo calls a lot of stuff from drop or hand or whatever, then gives all that stuff plus 5k, and then you can swap rearguards around, meaning you can attack from your Excel circle, meaning plus 10,000. After the attack, swap with another unit, put that new unit in the Excel circle, attack from that Excel circle again, swap it again, and do that for all of your units that way, meaning every single one of your attacks gets that plus 10 even though you only have one circle like that. So that's just something to think about. Of course, there's many more factors, but I for one really like theory crafting. I think premium is actually gonna be a really interesting format with all of the new rules, all of the new cards, all of the new options we didn't have before. Hope you found this interesting. If you did, please subscribe to the Solemn Vanguard channel and click the bell button to stay up to date. Also, do you want me to do this kind of theory crafting for another deck? For example, Blasters. I actually have quite some ideas already on how I would do the same thing I just did for Aqua Force, for Blasters and other decks. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments. I may start doing that. Like the video if you liked the video, and just let me know your thoughts on this whole premium thing. I will see you soon. Ciao.